Our daily Bible reading for February 13th. Our reading today comes from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 25. We'll be reading verses 1 through 30. Matthew 25, beginning in verse 1. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a cry, "Here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, saying, "Since there will not be enough for us and for you, go rather to the dealers and buy for yourselves." And while they were going to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Afterward the other virgins came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he answered, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. For it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now after a long time the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, "Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." And he also who had the 2 talents came forward, saying, "Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here I have made 2 talents more." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." He also who had received the 1 talent came forward, saying, "Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours." But his master answered him, "You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reap where I had not sown, and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." A few thoughts for today. The parable before us is commonly known as the parable of the talents. In it, Jesus puts forth an illustration to show the manner which people will be treated at the judgment. He shows how those who have been entrusted with the talents of the master are expected to increase them. At the very outset, all of the particulars are presented: the master, the servant, the journey, the implied return of the master. Of particular note is the fact that the talents that were distributed were done so according to their ability. So each was given what the master knew they could handle, no more, no less, but exactly what they could reasonably care for. Notice the first one immediately went out and traded for 5 more, and likewise the second one also. They were busy about the business of their master. It was not told how long the master would be gone, long or short. Regardless, they did not wait. The tragedy of this story comes from the slave who was given only 1 talent. He was by no means belittled by being given only 1, for it is plainly stated that it was according to his ability. He was not told how much to increase, only to increase. If only the servant had gained but a fraction by interest, the master would have been satisfied. The slave knew him to be a hard master, and for fear of loss hid his talent in the ground. What does this say for us today? Servant of God, have you hidden what you have been entrusted and not gained but a little in your walk? Does the kingdom need your abilities that it may increase, but just a little? Would you rather contemplate these questions now and correct whatever error there may be, or wait until you present your life exactly as you were given and nothing more? A question of the day. Does a parable like this cause you to search your heart with fear and trembling? And finally, a thought to meditate on this day. Does this fear and trembling result in a change in your life? And those are our thoughts for today, February 13th.